In this lecture, we are going to study about the while statement. So we will see what is this while statement, what is its importance, and for what is it used in C++ programming. Okay, so let's get started. So before we go into the while statement, let us talk a little bit.
Yes, boss.
About the flow of control. Now, statements normally execute sequentially. Now, what we mean by this is that in programming, whenever we write programs, usually the statements that are written in the programs are executed in a sequential manner. So let's take an example here. So here, let's say that this is a program. So we begin the program here, and then we have a few statements. So to be precise, we have 3 statements over here. So in sequential execution, we see that we begin here, then statement 1 is executed, and then statement 2, then statement 3, and then we end. So we see that the execution is sequential in manner. So that is what we mean by sequential execution, and that is a kind of flow of control that we have in programming. Now, programming languages also provide various flow of control statements that allow for more complicated execution paths. Now, besides this sequential execution, programming languages also gives us a support for other types of flow of control, which are not just sequential, but they can follow many other complicated paths. That means it is not essential that they have to be sequential all the time. They may come from one statement and they may go to some other statement here, and from statement 3, let's say that it can come back to 1 again, and then it can come back to 2 based on the conditions and the requirements. So that is what we mean by the various flow of control statements. Okay, now as we understood the flow of control, now we are in a position to understand and study about the while statement. Now let's see what is the while statement here. A while statement repeatedly executes a section of code so long as a given condition is true. So in a while statement, what happens is that there will be a section of code under the while statement, and then that code will be executed again and again until and unless the given condition is true. So we see that there are 2 main things that we see here, the section of code and then there is a condition. So we have to check the condition, and as long as the condition is true, that section of code under the while statement will keep on executing. Okay, so let's see the flow of control of the while statement here. So here we usually call the while statement as a while loop. So it is called a loop because it is something that is going to be executed again and again. So that is why we call it a loop. So as I said, first of all, there is a test condition. So we will test the condition that is there, and then if the condition is true, then the statement will be executed. So whatever statements we have under the while statement will be executed as long as the condition is true. Now, once this is executed, it will go back again and test the condition. And again, if the condition is still true, again, these statements will be executed. And now this loop will go on again and again till the condition becomes false. So once the condition becomes false, we exit or we come out of the while loop. So that is how the while statement works. So let us take an example program to understand the working of the while statement. So here is an example that shows the working of the while statement, and also it shows the syntax of the while statement. So here we start our program by including the header, and then we have the main function here. And inside the main function, here we are declaring a variable called count. So it is an integer variable called count, and it is initialized to 1. So remember that whenever we want to use a variable in a C++ program, first of all we have to declare it. So declaration means we are telling the compiler that I am going to use a variable called count, and then we have to specify its type, that is it is an integer type or whatever type it may be. So that is a declaration. Then we have the initialization. Initialization means we are giving some initial value to that variable. So here we see we are saying count is equal to 1. So this is the initialization part. So here in this one statement itself, we are having both the declaration and the initialization. Now we come to the important part, that is the while statement. So here in the while statement, this is the syntax. We have to write while, and within brackets or parentheses, we have to write the condition. So remember that there was a test condition. So this is the condition that we are giving. So in the condition I am saying that count is less than or equal to 10. So it means that as long as the variable count's value is less than or equal to 10, execute the statements that are within the while statement. So here inside this while statement or inside this while loop, we have the statement or this piece of code which is enclosed within this curly braces. So what does it do here? Let's see. It says std_cout, hello there, and then std endline. And then we are saying that count equal to count plus 1. So that is the statement inside this while loop. Now what is the meaning of that? It means that we are trying to print out hello there and then a new line. And then we are incrementing the value of this variable count by 1. So count was 1 in the beginning. So after the first execution of this, the new value of count will be count plus 1. So what is the old value of count? 1. So 1 plus 1 equal to 2. So count will be equal to 2. Now after that, it will come back to this while statement again and check the condition. Is count less than or equal to 10? So what is the new value of count? It is 2. So is 2 less than or equal to 10? Yes, it is true. So it will again execute this statement, hello there, and then it will come and increment the value of count again. So count now becomes count plus 1. So the value of count now is 2. So 2 plus 1 equal to 3. So the new value of count becomes 3. Now count is equal to 3, and then it will come back and check the condition again. So if
Variable po.
is 3 less than or equal to 10? Yes, it is true. So again it will execute this piece of code here. So this will go on again and again till count is equal to 10. So when count becomes 10, it will check is 10 less than or equal to 10? Yes, it is still true. It will execute once more, and then after that this count value will be equal to 11. Now when it becomes 11, it will check the condition, is 11 less than or equal to 10? No, the condition now becomes false. So it will not execute this statement anymore, and then it will come out of the while loop and it will return 0 and the program terminates. So we see that this part is the condition and these are the statements inside the while loop. So whatever is there in the condition will be checked. It will be executed if it is true, and then it will come back and check this condition again, and it will execute the piece of code if it is true. So this process is going to